Hope everybody had a great Christmas week. We are back with bowl game predictions for the biggest ones out there. And our man Porter Drinks is already in the comment section going, nice. Yes, sir. Let's get it done. Here are our predictions. Join us in the comment section. Y'all already know, once you see that poster right there on your screen, it's time for another episode of the Allied Rivals podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is A.J. Herschel, the kid, and you already know that I'm here with my man, Caedmon Bauer. How are you doing, my good sir?
I am doing great. I think my internet is glitching out. Can you hear me, AJ?
You're breaking up right now. I'm not sure if that's me, but I think you are breaking up a little bit. Yep, you're lagging for me. I'll go ahead and check the stream as well and see how it's looking on YouTube. For anybody tuning in, hope you guys are having a really nice day. Caedmon, you're definitely lagging for me, but it's getting clear. You're clearing up.
All right.
You're clearing up, so we should be good. So it has been a minute since we've talked about college football, but we are back, and we got two people already in the comment section. Porter Drinks, our resident Indiana fan, if I remember correctly, says, what's up, my guys? And Jadon Kingsley, been a minute, still love that Bears profile picture, says, hello to you too as well. So, Caedmon, how are you doing? How was your Christmas week?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. You're coming in clear.
All right. Yeah, we had a really good Christmas break with grandparents. Yeah, it was just really fun, pretty chill. Christmas was great, and Allied Rivals took some Christmas break, which is why we haven't done one for about a week or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hey, now we're coming back. Not only are we doing a college football episode, we're doing an NFL episode immediately afterwards. So you guys definitely want to stay for that as well. Let us know in the comment section, how was your Christmas as well? Let us know if you guys had anything interesting, any good food, any good Christmas movies you watched. For me, Christmas, my family, we got to get together and hung out and just watch Christmas movies. That was basically the extent of our Christmas. It was pretty nice. It was nice. That was what we kind of been doing all weekend. So yeah, it was good.
Nice.
But with the Christmas season also comes one of the greatest things we ever get to see, bowl games. And oh my goodness, college bowl games are still some of the most fun things ever. We had a great championship weekend as well. Jadon Kingsley watched Home Alone. Very nice. Porter Drinks Immaculate Christmas. Interesting. Very cool. College football's back. While some bowl games have been canceled, Military Bowl, UAB is currently not in a bowl. And Ole Miss is having some COVID testing not going well. Mizzou's bowl game also got canceled, the Music City Bowl. We still have a whole full slate. Caedmon, let me first ask you to get into our predictions for the biggest bowl games out there. Was there any bowl game this past week that surprised you, shocked you, you enjoyed watching, any of those?
I mean, not completely. I was just maybe a little bit surprised about how Georgia Southern whooped Louisiana Tech, really whooped them. That was just a big game. But I think outside of that, everything went as I kind of had guessed.
Yeah. Very true. For me, I think it was definitely the Coastal Carolina game, dude. Liberty, I feel so bad for Coastal Carolina. If it wasn't for their championship game being canceled, they might have been in a New Year's Six. But, oh, man, Liberty just playing spoiler, the heartbreaker on a late field goal. That was a fun game to watch. It's been fun to watch a lot of smaller teams come out and play. Falcon Boy 117, welcome to the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Says Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. We're only a couple days away before 2021 hits us. I can't believe we're saying that. And he asks, hey, man, what are your thoughts on the Falcons almost beating the Chiefs? This is going to be our college football episode. We'll do an NFL one right afterwards. But I think really quick for me, the big thing was just the Falcons' defense has become so much better in recent weeks. The Chiefs struggling a little bit, but I think it's just the rest before the playoffs. I think they'll be fine and getting back into midseason form. Caedmon, you got anything to say on Falcon Boys' question? Atlanta almost knocking off KC.
Everyone has an off game, and the Panthers almost beat the Packers. It was pretty close.
And the Jaguars.
And the Jaguars. But that was just kind of the Chiefs' off game that they still ended up winning because of a field goal, which should not have happened. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and it doesn't matter how they get it done, they win.
Yeah. Yep. And the Falcons, basically the anti-Chiefs. However, they're going to find a way. They, unfortunately, this year have been losing games, having a lot of one-possession close games in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
But this may be good for Falcons fans because they get a high draft pick. They're currently sitting at number 3 or 4 right now in their draft position, just under the Jags and the Jets.
Yep.
The Jets blew their number 1 chance at Trevor Lawrence this year, but it's crazy. The Falcons are looking to get a high draft pick. I'm interested to see what they do with that. But let's get into the college football stuff. Caedmon, we're going to cover 3 of our own personal favorite teams, and then we're going to hit it up with the New Year's 6, and those are the most exciting. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Porter Drinks already has a comment on Wisconsin will win the Duke Mayo Bowl tomorrow, and that's the first one we're talking about. Wisconsin taking on Wake Forest in the Duke Mayo Bowl. Caedmon, this is your team. Finished the season 3-3 and going up against an ACC Wake Forest middle of the pack team. What are you thinking for your boys in red and the Badgers?
Yeah, well, Wake Forest's offense is way better, but that's partly because we've had rookie quarterback problems or freshman quarterback problems. But our defense is definitely way better than Wake Forest's offense. So I think it'll actually be a really fun game to watch. I think the Badgers will end up winning it. Hopefully there won't be any quarterback problems this game. Of course, the run game is always good with Wisconsin, so I'm thinking Wisconsin's probably gonna stay on the ground a lot of the game and take this one out.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin's going to take it as well. I think it's going to be pretty close, though. I think Wisconsin's going to – Wake Forest is a very good offense. They can put up 50 points on you if they want to, but they can also drop 14. So I do think Wisconsin's defense is going to win out. I think the Big Ten is definitely going to take this one, but I think it's going to be a close game for sure. Let's move on to another one. The Outback Bowl is in question. Ole Miss, the University of Mississippi, has been having many positive COVID tests, so the game is currently up in the air. But right now, let's assume they play right now, Caedmon. Indiana versus Ole Miss. Indiana just having a rough season. What do you think? How are they going to do against Lane Kiffin's boys and the Rebels?
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss has the way better offense, and Indiana has the way better defense. And so it's going to be the good offense versus the good defense, and the bad offense versus the bad defense the whole game. I think you're going to see a lot of punting from both sides. Probably not a very high-scoring game is what I'm guessing, because each side seems to be pretty well matched. But I think Ole Miss is going to take this one because they have the crazy good run game, and also the pass yards per game. They're up there in the tops for both of those, so they might just be able to take this one. Indiana, like you said, has been having struggles, and I don't know. Ole Miss is looking hot, and especially their offense, and so I could see them taking this one.
Interesting. I think I disagree. I'm with Porter Drinks going IU, baby. I'm going Indiana on this one as well. Look, Indiana, their rough season end only was because of one game. They had to go in and play the number 3 Ohio State team and almost beat them, to be fair. Their offense is very good. Their defense is great. Ole Miss's defense is terrible. This is coming from an SEC fan. They are not that good on the defensive side of the ball. Granted, Lane Kiffin's boys can put up 49 points on you like that. I think it's going to be a very offensive-based game. Indiana's going to try to keep pace and be able to hang in there all the way to the end. I think they're going to try to control the game, while Ole Miss is going to try to score and score quickly, especially through their passing offense as well. But I think Indiana's defense is going to be able to take it if the game actually happens. That is the biggest question, but I do think IU is going to win this one as well. Comment section, blow it up a little bit. Lightning Bauer in the chat. Good to see you. Ask Mayo Bowl. Really need a better name than that. Yeah, bowl game names are kind of hit or miss. It kind of reminds me of soccer teams when they always have like Manchester United's got giant Chevrolet right on the front or whatever. And all these, yeah, we're gonna play in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl this year. That's TCU just perennially makes the Cheez-It Bowl as well. So yeah, maybe some more new namings of bowl games. But Lightning Bauer does bring up Wisconsin isn't bad in bowl games, which is very true as well. Porter Drinks agrees. So I'm going with Indiana. We're splitting this one. Caedmon's going with the Rebels. Falcon Boy, Clemson or Bama for number 1, or Notre Dame. No Ohio State. Man, you out of that one? Well, we're going to save that one for last. We're going to save the college football championship predictions for last. You definitely want to hang in for that. Before we get to the New Year's Six, we got one more. This Citrus Bowl. Auburn versus the Big Ten runner-up, Northwestern. Caedmon, do you mind if I talk about this one first for a little bit?
Go ahead. Yeah,
all right. Look, Northwestern's had a good season. But they fought. They had 2.5 quarters. They were up on Ohio State. 6-2 record. Perfect in the Big Ten. Perfect in the Big Ten West. And then I look at the team we're playing, and then I see it's Auburn, who isn't bad, but they fired Gus Malzahn, and they're 6-4. And I think with a new coach and getting absolutely obliterated in the Iron Bowl, I am definitely pulling for Northwestern, of course, but I also think Northwestern's going to win it. Peyton Ramsey is having kind of an up and down time. Our defense is still one of the best in the nation. We held Ohio State to sub 25, so I'm very curious to see what they're going to do against Auburn's football team as well. Northwestern, they don't run up a lot of points, but they will grind you out with Peyton Ramsey throwing the football, and then also the defense is super stalwart. Auburn's good. They played some tough competition, but I think Northwestern's defense is going to prevail because they got something to prove here as well. Pat Fitzgerald is a lot of people always say he's one of the best coaches in the Big Ten. He's got to show up and prove that. I'm going with my boys in purple. I'm going Northwestern. Falcon Boy says Northwestern has a better offense than Auburn. He predicts Northwestern at a plus 3.5. What do you think, Caedmon?
No. Northwestern has I'd say Auburn and Northwestern have very similar offenses because they can't do much at any time. I'd say Auburn probably has the slight advantage because of their run game, and it's just slightly better than Northwestern's. But Northwestern's defense has just been locked down all year. Like you said, Ohio State sub 25. Wisconsin, they hold to like what was it, 7 or something. They just keep every team out of the red zone. And that's something Auburn has struggled with on the offensive side, getting into the red zone. And so Auburn is not going to score high here. And I don't think Northwestern's offense isn't great, but Auburn's defense is bad, in my opinion, as far as points allowed. So I think this is going to be a pretty low-scoring game, but I think Northwestern will be able to take this one.
Yep, I am in complete agreement with that, especially because I am a little worried. Northwestern got absolutely carved up by Ohio State on the ground, but Justin Fields had one of his worst games this year. I think Bo Nix is definitely going to struggle against Pat Fitzgerald's defense. Sorry, Falcon Boy, I'm going to say minus 3.5 in that. Soft Fish 779 says, "What's up? Good to see you, Soft Fish. Hope you're doing well. Let us know what your college team is and what you think about the games that we're bringing up." Porter Drinks also brings up Wisconsin does well, except when Justin Herbert carved up Wisconsin. Yeah, Caedmon, I'm assuming
but that was Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
But that was Justin Herbert. That's okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep. Well, let's get to the New Year's Six. These are the big boys, and while I'm a little bit disappointed that Northwestern didn't make one, but that's SEC. They already have their scheduled teams going to each one, so whatever. But let's start off with the Cotton Bowl. The Big 12 champion Oklahoma against Heisman nominee and SEC runner-up, the Florida Gators. Spencer Rattler having one of the best seasons you could ask for out of a freshman quarterback. Their defense is finally healthy. They've been playing good defense, something I haven't said for Oklahoma for the past 4 years. And Florida is coming off a close match, but utterly a loss to Alabama. Caedmon, Oklahoma or the Gators, who you got?
This is going to be, in my opinion, one of the best, outside of the playoffs, probably the best matchup of the week, best bowl matchup. Both of these offenses are really as good as they get. Oklahoma's defense has gotten better. Florida's defense isn't really too great most of the time. But I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game considering how great both of these offenses are. You have Florida. They're second in pass yards a game with about close to 400, which is just incredible. But then you look at Oklahoma, and they're really good on the run. So I think this is going to be a really high-scoring game. Both of these teams are really good at getting into the red zone. And neither one is spectacular at defense. But if I'm going to pick one, I am going to pick Florida because they have crazy pass yards a game, crazy total yards. It's hard for an offense, for any defense to stop them.
Yeah, as a Georgia fan, do I like Florida? No. Do I want Florida to win bowl games? No. Do I think they're going to beat Oklahoma? Yeah, I think it's going to be close, but Dan Mullen, I think, is going to really rally Florida around 2 straight losses. First, an absolute heartbreaker to LSU, which happened for the most ridiculous reason. We've all seen the highlights for that. And then a loss to arguably the best team in the nation in Alabama. I think that Florida is going to take it. I think Kyle Trask is still going to do well. And Lightning Bauer, you bring up the chance, and he brings it up. Yeah, Oklahoma does have that surging defense. But I do think that it's going to be Florida. Dan Mullen, I think, is going to come out with Kyle Trask, and they're going to let him throw as much as he wants. I think Spencer Rattler is going to have a hard time. I think Florida is going to get up early. Oklahoma is going to make some nice second-half adjustments, but I think Florida will be able to take the game. I think it's going to be a fun offensive-based shootout, but I have a hard time seeing Florida losing 3 straight to finish the year, though I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I do think that this one's going to go to Florida. Softfish says he's a Texas A&M guy. Nice. And Jaden Kingsley says Oklahoma. He's the one he's pulling for. Had heard Dan Mullen had some cheating issues. I haven't heard that recently. I don't know what's going on. I think that may have been some Ole Miss stuff. But hey, for our man Softfish, the A&M guy, let's go ahead and talk about the Orange Bowl. Texas A&M came this close to making it into the CFP with a loss. Guess who? Alabama, of all teams, and they didn't make a championship game because they're still in the West. This has been a tough year to swallow for Aggies fans, and now they're going up against the interesting North Carolina team. What do you think, Caedmon? Do you think the Aggies are going to finish the season on a high note in the Orange Bowl?
I don't know, man. You got North Carolina with one of the best offenses and one of the worst defenses, and Texas A&M is is a really good offense and a really good defense. So I could see this game going both ways, honestly. Both teams are good at score high enough per game, and that's why they're ranked where they are. And both teams seem to play enough defense, but of course North Carolina just continually gets in the end zone pretty much every drive. I don't know. This is going to be hard. I think this game is going to depend on if Texas A&M can slow down North Carolina's offense, because if they can, North Carolina's defense can't do anything. So if they can score, if Texas A&M can even just score as much as North Carolina, obviously they can score as much. But if they can hold North Carolina's offense down, especially their run game, I think Texas A&M should win this one. Honestly, yeah.
I think it's going to be very, 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 very close and very, very, very offensively based. Texas A&M was able to outshoot Florida. They had a rough time on defense, but their offense is still very good. Isaiah Spiller is a great running back. Kellen Mond is playing very well. They've had a great 4-game stretch, blowing out South Carolina, knocking off LSU, beating Auburn, and finishing with a win against Tennessee. Plus, I think they're coming out angry. I think they're going to come out very angry. Soft Fish brings up the point that they've got a great quarterback and the best offensive line in the country. Yeah, I think they do have the best O-line in the country as well. And just because they're stuck in a conference in the same division as Alabama, they don't get to make it to the championship game. And you can make the argument that they should have made it over Notre Dame. Both of them have losses to top number 1 teams, and one of them made it to the conference championship because, I'm sorry for saying this, but the ACC is a lot weaker after you get down after Clemson and Notre Dame. Everybody else is really just, it's a coin flip on who's going to win the game. Carolina's got a great offense, but I'm going with Lightning Bauer. I don't see the Aggies losing the Orange Bowl. They're frustrated about not making the CFP. They've got a great offensive line. Kellen Mond, I think, is going to have a very good time. I do think Carolina is going to run up the scoreboard, though. I think they're going to make a late surge in the second half, but I do think A&M and the Aggies are going to be able to take the win. It's going to be a close game, though, in my opinion. James Harden and Nets. You can watch our NBA video for that. We did one on NBA preview and a bunch of trades. You should check out our channel and watch that episode. Caedmon, sorry, what were you about to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it seems like the Aggies can always find a way to win, and that's not necessarily always out going to the end zone every time, but their defense and offense has both been good enough that I think they should be able to take care of Carolina's offense. Even though they're not the most high-scoring team. So, yeah, I'm going to Aggies on this one.
Yep. Now, this is definitely a weird one. The Fiesta Bowl. You've got Iowa State and Oregon. Oregon coming off a win over undefeated USC, and Iowa State losing in a heartbreaker to Oklahoma. Pac-12 versus Big 12. What do you think, Caedmon?
These teams are really evenly matched, and I don't know, honestly. I think we're going to see a very close game the whole game on this one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Iowa State's probably just that much better because of their offense. But you never, in their yards per game, but you never know. Both of these teams are just so evenly matched, in my opinion. I could see this one going either way. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, Brock Purdy definitely had a very tough game going up against that Oklahoma defense that's really, really, really sharpened up. I think Oregon is going to have a rough time. I'm sorry. It's shortened schedule. Oregon's good. Don't get me wrong, but the Pac-12 was definitely, in my opinion, the weakest out of the Power 5 this year, and it's not even close to me. It was really just a mess. I think Oregon's a good team. Washington technically should have made it to the Pac-12 championship, but didn't play enough games. I think Iowa State is going to take this. I think Brock Purdy is going to figure out what he needs to do. I think he's going to find his rhythm once again. I think they'll bounce back and win over Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl. And we have one more game before we get to the college football playoffs, and it's my dudes in the Silver Britches coming back. UGA, the University of Georgia versus Cincinnati, two top S&P defenses, number 1 and 2 actually, in the Peach Bowl. Cincinnati, one of the best group of 5 teams we've ever seen, closing in the year at number 8, and Georgia with surging quarterback JT Daniels making a run, not to the CFP, unfortunately, but shaping up for a good run next year as well. Caedmon, I'll let you go first on this one. What do you
Okay.
think?
All right.
What do you think about Georgia and Cincinnati?
Well, Georgia has an underrated offense. I'll just put that out there, and they have a great defense. But so does Cincinnati. They have really good offense and defense. This is gonna be a big challenge, I think, for the Georgia defense because this is one of the most well-rounded offenses in the league, or in all of college football. And so I think, I think this is going to be how well does Georgia's defensive line hold up? Because when I've seen when they stop the run well, then it seems like their whole game is going to go well, or at least their whole defensive game. So yeah, I think it's going to depend on that. I think Georgia will end up taking this one because they do have a great defense, and it seems like they can always find a way to keep up with any offense or whatever it is. So I'm going Georgia on this one, AJ.
Yeah. How could I not go Georgia? I got a Georgia football back there, man. Georgia is my college. They're my team. And just ignoring the fact that I'm a blatant Georgia fan, I do think that they would take it. JT Daniels is finally coming back. I think maybe he's a little bit overhyped. We're still getting used to having a quarterback who can throw all over the field. I think JT Daniels is a very good quarterback, and he's going to get another year next year as well. Cincinnati has one of the most electrifying people to watch in college football. Desmond Ridder is fun. A dual threat quarterback can throw and run. He's absolutely incredible to watch. I think Georgia's going to take it. Kirby Smart is a great coach. Their defense is incredible. We're finally starting to get somewhat healthy. And the run game of Georgia has finally woken up. I'm sorry, I like Stetson Bennett. He's a good guy, but we had a really hard time with him throwing across the middle all the time and running up the middle all the time. Now you've got JT Daniels, who's a much more evolved quarterback, and the run game is finally getting to work. Zamir White is going crazy. And then, of course, our incredible depth with Edwards, McIntosh, and my man James Cook, who's our gadget guy. I think Georgia has the depth, the balance, and the defense to be able to take the Peach Bowl over Cincinnati. And now, it is time to talk about the CFP. So even before we talk about the game, Softfish brings up that A&M beat Florida, Notre Dame beat Clemson one time barely, and got destroyed the second. So Caedmon, when we are talking about Bama versus Notre Dame, the Rose Bowl, before we even talk about the game, do you think Notre Dame should have made it, or should it have been A&M?
It's hard. A&M, I think we talked about this, really good, but I think at that point there was just too much space for Notre Dame not to make it. I mean, they played Clemson, which, I mean, the number 2, ranked number 2 in the nation, and I mean, they obviously deserve that. Trevor Lawrence is amazing. But Notre Dame is also amazing. And they've done well enough that I think they should definitely be in the CFP over A&M, despite A&M's awesomeness. I don't know. I don't think you can count that one game, honestly, that loss to Clemson. Probably the greatest, the best quarterback of this year in college, as going out of the CFP, because outside of that, they've played spectacular on the whole season. So, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't see A&M making it, and they didn't. AJ, do you think they should have?
I think you could definitely make an argument for A&M getting in. It's definitely difficult. Notre Dame is in the ACC this year. Their competition is far easier than Texas A&M. Texas A&M, since they play in the SEC, they already have tough matchups against Alabama. They're playing Florida, another top 10 team. And then after that, LSU could resurge, but then Arkansas, South Carolina, Auburn. So both of their schedules were a little bit iffy in terms of the teams that they were playing. But A&M just doesn't have that advantage of getting to play in the SEC East. I think that win over Florida is definitely big, but also the loss to Alabama was definitely big, but that was at the beginning of the season. I think you have to give it to Notre Dame because they made a conference championship, but should A&M get in? It's close. They should. I think they should. Notre Dame is good, and the thing is that they didn't lose to Clemson. They lost bad. It was 34-10. Clemson manhandled them. They had a hard time dealing with the second string quarterback of Clemson and had to go to overtime to beat them. Then Trevor Lawrence shows up on ACC's biggest stage and obliterates the Notre Dame defense. I do think A&M should have made, but since we didn't get that second rematch against Alabama, I think that's what doomed them. It's definitely a tough case to make, but I think A&M in a perfect world, I think A&M gets the number 4 spot, but Notre Dame's got that advantage of making a championship game, and that's what the CFP is going to put in.
Yeah, I think you explained that well. Let's go.
All right.
CFP time. Here we go.
CFP. Let's do it. Alabama versus Notre Dame. Bama's coming off against a close game against Florida, and Notre Dame is coming off of a devastating loss to Clemson. For the ACC, it's great. You have 2 teams in the CFP, but now one of them's got to go in and play the Crimson Tide. What do you think? Bama is loaded. Najee Harris, Mac Jones, current AP Player of the Year, Devonta Smith, and a very good defense, and the best coach of the 2010s. I don't think it's a debate anymore, probably, with the amount of national championships he's won. Nick Saban going up against Notre Dame. Rose Bowl predictions. Caedmon Bauer.
Yeah. So Alabama's offense, we all know what it is, and especially their pass game. And we all know that they have a defense that is good enough at all times. So I'm going with Alabama on this one because you just saw Clemson destroy Notre Dame's defense, and Alabama could do very much the same thing. So I'm going with the Crimson Tide on this one.
Yep, I think it's going to be Roll Tide if you're Alabama. I think you're going to the championship. Notre Dame is exactly. Notre Dame is a very good college football team. But Bama, I think, is better. They've got an incredible offense. There's a reason why Mac Jones and Devonta Smith are both up for the Heisman. In my opinion, Najee Harris has some of the best vision. I don't think people talk about him enough. He's got some of the best vision I've ever seen in a college football running back. Completely underrated, in my opinion. Bama's offense is absolutely incredible, and we tried to look at Notre Dame last week against Trevor Lawrence and Clemson. Also, do we remember the last time Alabama played Notre Dame? Yeah, they absolutely blew them out. They won by 28 points. I think Notre Dame is not going to be that close. It's going to be a good game. Ian Book is a good player. Notre Dame is a good team, but I think Bama is just that much better. Which means in the Sugar Bowl, you've got 2 other champions. The ACC champion with Heisman, up for Heisman again, one of the best players in the nation, Trevor Lawrence, going up against who's probably the second best quarterback, a lot of people think, in the nation, Justin Fields. Expected to go 1 and 2 in the NFL draft. What do you think? Clemson coming off of a big win. Ohio State having the best running. Ohio State, as much as I absolutely hate to say it, Ohio State having the best run game they'd ever had in a championship, with Trey Sermon getting 300 yards against Northwestern. What do you think, Caedmon?
Yeah, well, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, like you said, probably numbers 1 and 2 in the draft. And these are both teams that, I mean, I just said it. They have 2 of the best offenses in the league. Ohio State's defense is somewhat better, probably a lot better, actually, considering how many points they've let up compared to Clemson. Ohio State's let up 126 points compared to Clemson's 193. So that's something to look at. But, man, these offenses are just both so good, and no defense seems to be able to hang with either of them. This is going to be a high-scoring game, AJ. I'm curious to hear what you think of the score. I want to hear your score prediction, AJ.
All right, score prediction. I think it's going to be high scoring for sure. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to come out firing. I think Justin Fields is going to have a good game as well. I do think this goes to Clemson. I'm saying right now 38-30. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Justin Fields is great. Trey Sermon having a great game against Northwestern. He's coming in energized, but Clemson's almost played a full season. They are ready for this game. Ohio State has had cancellations and games going back and forth. It's going to be a close game, I think, to be sure, but I am going to give the nod to this one. I'm going to give it to Clemson and Trevor Lawrence over Justin Fields. It's going to be a close game, but I think this one's going to go to Clemson. So with that being said, we both agree it's going to be Bama Clemson. Early CFP championship prediction. Who do you think wins? Will it be Mac Jones and Bama or Trevor Lawrence and Clemson? We'll talk about this again, of course, after the CFP, after the first round. We'll talk about it again. But right now, who are you seeing winning the championship in our prediction for Clemson versus Alabama championship round 4?
Alabama, because they can always win it. They're undefeated. Their defense is probably better than Clemson's, just barely. Both of these offenses are probably the 2 best in the league. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I think all of the CFP is probably going to be very high-scoring. But if we do see the Clemson-Alabama, I am going to go Alabama. They don't lose. AJ, you with me?
I think I'm with you on this one. Clemson is a very, very good team. And honestly, Clemson, Alabama is like watching Rocky movies, right? They just keep going back. They keep coming out with so many of them, but they're so good. Everyone goes to see them anyway. Like there's 10 of them, but we just keep watching them and giving Paramount our money. Alabama Clemson is going to be absolutely elite. I think the key here is going to be Najee Harris. He's an incredible runner. I think Mac Jones is going to set him up with the pass, and Najee Harris is going to knock him down. Trevor Lawrence is going to have a great game as well. I hope it's going to be high scoring. College championships have been absolutely incredible to watch in recent history. The CFP has been very, very fun. Clemson, granted, this is their 3rd straight season. They have lost 1 game in the last 3 seasons. Well, not including CFP. Sorry. 2 games in the last 3 seasons. Lost the championship last year to LSU. This year to Notre Dame, but without Trevor Lawrence, I think Lawrence is going to be good. He's going to be great. Etienne, the offense, going to be great. But I think I'm going to give it to Alabama. It's a tough, tough choice to make, but I am going to go ahead and give that one to the Crimson Tide. As of right now, that's subject to change, of course, if Bama barely beats Notre Dame. But right now, I'm going with the Alabama Crimson Tide. So that just about wraps us up, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know who you think is going to win in the college football playoff. Let us know what your favorite team is as well. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in to the Allied Rivals podcast. We had a great comment section today. Porter Drinks, Jadon Kingsley, Falcon Boy 117, Lightning Bauer, and Softfish 779. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we leave, we've got one last thing for you. Caedmon, who is your Heisman winner? Is it Mac Jones from Alabama, Devonta Smith from Alabama, Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, or Kyle Trask out of Florida?
It might have to be Mac Jones, Alabama. I don't know, AJ.
Nothing else?
I don't see anyone else winning this. I don't think so. I don't see anyone else winning, and that's it.
Interesting. It's kind of unfair. Bama's already has a 50% chance of winning as it stands right now. The last time we've had a wide receiver win the Heisman, if I remember correctly, it was Desmond Howard, who also was really a cornerback at the same time. So before that, you have to go back to Mr. Tim Brown from 1987. Or no, Howard was a punt returner. Why did I say cornerback? My bad. Desmond Howard, wide receiver, kick returner. I think I kind of just want there to be a wide receiver to win it. So I'll say Devonta Smith in the hopes that he wins it. I think Mac Jones or Trask, honestly, but a 3-loss Florida, I don't think he's going to get it. I think it's going to go to Mac Jones probably, but I like Devonta Smith to get it. That's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. Be sure to check out our NFL episode, which we are about to do. Caedmon, hit us with our verse.
Deuteronomy 31:6, AJ's favorite. Be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you.
Yes, sir. Be sure to check out our Allied Rivals shorts. There we go. Be sure to check out all the other stuff on our channel. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Leave us in the comments if you're joining us later on what you think. And we will see you next time, hopefully soon, on the one and only